In a hotel in Southern California, a woman whose day job is working with trauma clients is making history. There she is. It's an unintentional consequence to her fighting for human rights for people half a world away. A movement that has come to be known by the slogan, Women, Life, Freedom. Chanting for freedom. Anti-regime protests have swept Iran for more than 40 days, and authorities have responded with violent crackdowns. This after 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was arrested for not wearing her mandatory headscarf correctly and died in the custody of Iran's morality police on September 26th. While Iranian authorities claim Amini died from underlying conditions, her family has raised concerns over her treatment in detention and has said she was struck in the head with a baton. Amini's death has sparked acts of defiance across the country, many removing their hijab, mandatory for 43 years, throwing it in bonfires, some cutting their hair, a symbolic show of resistance against a regime that has been documented to violate women's rights for decades. Demonstrations have spread all across the world since. This is a historic moment. Many say the first female-led revolution in Iran, still unfolding. What makes this uprising different, though, is the young generation of Iran.
This generation, they're very, very different from us. I mean, we have to know that, the time that the Islamic Revolution happened, only 40% of Iranian people, they could read and write. Now it's above 80% of them. These people, they're born with internet. They have access actually to the information around the world. This new generation, first of all, they claim not to be sexist at all. You see, I mean, the big slogan is Zan Zendegi Azadi, woman, life, freedom. And the human rights, the women's rights is the human right.
In an effort to block the flow of information, the government has blocked the internet and limited communication access in the country. But the Iranian diaspora was listening. They took action, taking the conversation online using social media apps like Clubhouse.
We want it to be about the movement.
Clubhouse, the audio-based social media app, has become an instrument for social change in Iran.
We were inspired by an idea from another Clubhouse member, Ali Mozaffari, who inspired me to open a mahsaamini English speaking room to share information, have open and free conversation and dialogue in regards to what's going on in Iran, up-to-date information, people in Iran with first-hand, on-the-ground information.
That's Iranian African-American comedian and social activist Tehran Vanghasri.
And you have the commitment of all of us in leadership in the city of Los Angeles that we will stand together to act.
He opened the club on the digital platform called I Am Tehran. He, along with other moderators, have been able to keep the room open 34 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and counting.
At this point, with nearly 300,000 total attendees, 100,000 messages in the chat room, 5,000 room shares, and going for 33 days straight as part of the top trending hashtag of all time, we have actually been able to utilize every single aspect, tool, and opportunity that Clubhouse has allotted for users to amplify the voices of the people of Iran.
The impact of the room, so much so that Clubhouse took note, changing its icon to reflect the fight for freedom in Iran. Both Tehran and his two moderators, Mary Amini and Parisa Rose, are featured in the image.
This is literally why we built Clubhouse, and it just means a ton to us to see what you've done and to have you here today.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Paul and Rohan, for making this app to begin with, because you have no idea what it's meant to the Iranian community. It has been the one place that has, over the last year and a half, allowed for people to have freedom of expression and talk to each other in a way that hasn't been possible on street corners in Iran. You have created a place for open dialogue for our community. You have no idea what you have done. And you've also provided an opportunity for us to get the information out that traditional media is not getting out there.
What's also unique about this app and this room is that there is real-time news and information coming out of Iran directly from the streets to the people around the world. With dozens of moderators present 24/7, the room is open to all, and I mean all, even opposing voices, even reformists, and even supporters of the regime. The moderators say it is important to reflect the democracy and freedom they want to see in the future of Iran.
I think we've all, as humans, been under this false narrative that we don't all affect one another. And if there's anything that COVID did teach us, it's that, guess what? We all do impact one another, believe it or not. We all impact one another. So whether or not someone is cozy sitting on a couch, listening in a Clubhouse room in one country, and then on the other side of the world, something else is happening absolutely horrific, it all eventually is a trickle-down effect, no matter what. No matter what. And the fact that clearly this moment with the burning of hijabs and these women speaking out, crying out in a way that they've never done before, that gets to be a very clear message to the world that this movement and this way to help control nations through violence and warfare is expiring. And this new era of feminine leadership is being ushered in by the world.
In Los Angeles, I'm Silvahara Perian.